But speaking of Nintendo Switch and Mario and video games in general, the GameCube is very old, and I love it. It's one of my favorite video game systems of all time. I love my Nintendo Switch. Those two worlds don't interact nearly enough. There's a couple of GameCube games on Switch. Most recently, we got Ikaruga, which is like one of the best shmups of all time. But there aren't really a lot of GameCube games on Switch. And what sucks about that is that we've heard rumors for a long time about maybe that intersecting with the virtual console thing, or where that will end up. Nintendo Online launches in about a month and a half. It'll be the first time you get to pay for video games or pay for online games on your Nintendo Switch, which is very odd. I don't know why your face is up there.
They put my face up on the teleprompter for reasons I can't see. And
it's very
It's not
scary.
fair because you viewers at home can't see it, and we can't show it to you, and it's messing us up.
Yeah. So anyway, we love the Nintendo GameCube. We love the Nintendo Switch. I wanted to go through some Nintendo GameCube games that I'd love to see on Nintendo Switch. And I want to go through some of the lesser known ones. Because when you think about the GameCube, you think about Smash Brothers, you think about Rogue Leader, you think about Wind Waker. I think we'll eventually see a lot of those games, but I want to go through some of the kind of like less known ones, some of the more hidden ones. So let's start with Super Monkey Ball Collection.
Yeah, let's start with it.
There we go. If you guys don't remember Monkey Ball, this was back when Sega was just really knocking it out the park and just doing really weird things.
Putting monkeys in balls.
Putting monkeys in balls.
That's so cruel.
This was a really interesting franchise because it fit perfectly well on GameCube. The sort of the analog stick and controller felt perfect for this game. And Monkey Ball is a game about monkeys who go in balls and then go down ramps and then have to get to a goal. Very simple, very basic, kind of tiny, constrained, level-driven game. It had some cool party game multiplayer stuff.
I thought it was really pretty courageous of them to do that with primates and not like a rodent of some kind. Because people do put rodents in balls and make them do stuff.
That's very true.
But to put like a chimp in a ball is just really a lot.
Yeah, and so the Monkey Ball franchise went on to do a lot of weird things. It got very gimmicky, kind of like the WarioWare games did.
Kind of weird that you start with a game about throwing monkeys in balls, and it's like, then it got gimmicky.
It did, yeah. So they made a touch version, they made a GBA version. There was a version that used the balance beam on the Wii U or the Wii.
Really?
Yeah, and then motion controls, all this other stuff. Really, just Monkey Ball is just a fantastic sort of arcade puzzle platforming game. And Monkey Ball 1 and 2 are classics, and I'd love to see them both on Switch.
Next.
Skies of Arcadia Legends, one of the greatest RPGs of all time. A lot of people don't really remember this one. This is another Sega game. They were just partnering really well with Nintendo at the time and just doing really awesome stuff. It's kind of an action-y RPG. It's got really beautiful graphics. It's a really long, really fun game. Never really got ported to a bunch of systems afterwards, so it kind of lives and dies on the GameCube. You can play it through emulation and stuff like that, but that's useless. I want it on my Switch.
Nice.
So do it.
Next.
Capcom made two of the best action platforming games ever made with Beautiful Joe. During the GameCube era, they launched this as part of the Capcom 5. Do you remember those games?
Yep.
So the weird thing about Capcom 5 was that they were all supposed to be exclusive to GameCube, and one by one, they either got canceled or ported to PS2.
That was like, what, Killer 7? Was that
Killer 7, Resident Evil 4, Beautiful Joe. There was like this Kid Icarus style game that Dead Phoenix, I think.
Yeah, Beautiful Joe. People want this. They want this to come back.
Like, yeah, so the cool thing about Beautiful Joe is that it used sort of bullet time, and the entire game kind of took place in like Avid video software editing programs. So you could fast forward, rewind, pause, you could cut the film in half. And it made boss fights and combat in general really interesting. So you could mash through this game and kick some ass, and it was fun, but you could also build up combos, speed run it, and do really well. Beautiful Joe 2 came out. It's just as good. Then there were other offshoots. There was one that came to DS. They put Beautiful Joe in some fighting games, but basically this character in this franchise died. And I love it. So bring it to Switch.
Next.
BATEN KAITOS, or KAITOS. The Eternal Wings and the Long Lost Legacy, the long varied RPG title. This was a Namco RPG, another classic RPG that didn't really get ported to a lot. Got some spin-offs and stuff like that, but again, we haven't seen much of this game since, and I'd love to see it again on Switch. It's perfect there.
What's up with that guy's fingers?
He's pretending he's holding a Switch, but it's not happening. He was very like, kind of like, aggro emotional. We were really into that stuff back then. But this is a cool game, and we can't play it anymore, so let's see it happen. Killer 7. We have had Suda51 on this show numerous times. It's very cool that we get to call him a friend. Killer 7 is the only thing I've ever asked anyone to sign. I have a copy of this game for the GameCube. It's a classic. It was on 2 discs. They put it on PS2. Loading times are a little worse. We heard recently that they are porting it to PC, and sort of like doing a remastered version of it, which means that they're working on it, which means that they have a functional build of this game running on something considering modern hardware.
Nice.
And so I'd love to see this on.
We've also seen Capcom putting a lot of stuff on Switch.
Yeah,
you know, they're being good about that. So
they own the rights to this. People constantly ask Suda about this. Suda is working on a No More Heroes sequel, prequel type thing for Switch. So he's in development on that system. So this is easy money. Bring it over there. It's one of the weirdest games of all time, and I love it.
Next.
Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles. I know you're thinking like, okay, this is not really like a lesser known title. This is Square Enix, and Final Fantasy is one of the most recognizable sort of franchises of all time. But Crystal Chronicles is a weird, odd duck. It's sort of like the black sheep of the Final Fantasy series. It's a spin-off that used Game Boy Advances as controllers so that each character had their own screen to play alongside with a TV.
Sounds perfect for Switch.
Exactly. It's a multiplayer RPG. You can play it by yourself, but it's kind of a pain in the ass. What sucks about this game is that one of you guys always has to carry the bucket, which sends out this aura of safety, because otherwise the world is covered in poison and it will kill you. But it's a very grindy, kind of Diablo-style action RPG. Inspires you to replay levels a bunch and just level up and do cool stuff. It's really fun with friends. So yeah, bring it to Switch. It's perfect.
Next.
TimeSplitters 2 and Future Perfect. TimeSplitters 2 is made by ex-GoldenEye people, which sounds weird, but TimeSplitters 2 is one of my favorite sort of arcade shooters of all time. It's completely ridiculous, over the top. You can play as like dinosaurs and weird aliens, and it's all about time travel and guys that look like Vin Diesel fighting each other in arena-based combat.
Wait, what the hell's going on here? Did EA publish that in Europe?
So KAITOS Montreal made the original and published it, and then EA published TimeSplitters 2 through some weird licensing agreement. So that's the PAL version of the game. I couldn't find a better one.
You want to know something really weird? 50 Cent, Blood on the Sand. I think this is the second one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Blood on the Sand. That's published in Japan by Bethesda.
Oh, that is really
It's really odd.
Yeah.
Really very odd. Now finally, this got left out. This was added into the prompter. We don't have a graphic for it, but Eternal Darkness.
Yes.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Yes.
Really cool survival horror game. Silicon Knights, who created that game, tried to kickstart a spiritual successor to that game numerous times, failed every time. So I don't really know if there's a viable market for a sequel, but I do think that dragging and dropping that game and putting it on Switch would sell some units, and it's free, easy money. So let's do it. Hey, thanks for watching our video on GameCube games we want on Switch. What do you want on Switch? Everything? You sure? That's a lot of games. Everything? Every single one. Well, it's your wallet. I don't care what you do with it. After that, watch our video we did with Shaquille O'Neal where he reviews video game controllers. Nintendo Switch has some awesome video game controllers, but here are some special custom Joy-Cons we want. Jazz hands, fingers, vanish into the evening, you young ghouls. Getting tickled? How's that feel? Around your neck? Is that good? Right there? Yeah. Very tense.
I don't like it one bit. Get that out of here.
Hi.
We're not playing Big Head Baby anymore. I don't like that game.
There we go.
Put the big head away.
Love playing the jazz. Oh, my hands are ghosts. They were killed in the hideous piano accident.
Get that out of here.
This can stop whenever you want. Just
Enough of that.
cut it off.